Hello everybody and welcome to the first episode of my creation process. Today we are going to take a look at Paul Groseclose's workflow, because in this podcast we are taking a look at individual creators on this platform and their workflow. So I think it's gonna be super exciting. Paul is a 2 times award-winning film director, also a YouTuber and a young entrepreneur. So thank you so much for accepting my invite to the show, Paul. And how are you today, Paul?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me on the show. It means a lot. I've actually never been on if I remember correctly, I've never actually been on another person's podcast. So this is like a first for me. It's kind of fun. So yeah, I'm doing great today. What about you, Vince?
I'm doing absolutely awesome. Thank you. And yeah, I am super nervous and excited at the same time about this podcast, because this is my first podcast ever. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty hard for me. Yeah,
you're gonna do great. You're gonna do great, man.
Let's hope so. Yeah. First of all, I want to ask you, how much do you think actual gear matters in the long term of a YouTube channel? Because we all know that you can make a viral video with very bad equipment.
Oh,
it doesn't
totally
really matter that much. Like, the content is king. But do you think it is important in the long game to have good equipment?
That is honestly, to me, I don't want to go on a huge long rabbit trail here with this one. I think it's going to be a yes and no situation, because yes, it's very important to have gear because you want your videos to have longevity. Because I know there was a lot of is 1080p still important, but think about how much 4K has become standard in the past few years. It's insane. 1080p is going to be obsolete in literally 10 years. So if you want your videos to have much longevity, you're going to want more resolution, you're going to want better gear, though I'm not saying that you can't do the same exact stuff with your phone. So it's like, we're getting to the point also that it's getting a lot cheaper to get the same quality of gear than it was 5 years ago. So for $300, you can get a Canon, I think a T4i even now, which crazy camera. It's really high quality, and you can get some amazing stuff with that. Stuff just keeps getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, so it's much easier to get good gear for less. So I highly recommend investing in gear, but use what you got, because your phone, you guys most likely have a phone. You're probably, I think 70% of my audience watches my videos on a smartphone. So if you have a smartphone, you literally have a camera on that smartphone, and most likely it shoots 1080p. Most of them even shoot 4K now. So I don't think gear is extremely important to invest in. I think it's just use what you got, and then once you know how to use what you got, upgrade what you got, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and it's so ridiculous that we are always upgrading our cameras, and we can actually achieve a lot more with one camera than we think. Like, when I got my first camera, I thought that it's not really good enough quality, but actually even with this camera, the Lumix G85, I am creating much better films now than I was obviously when I got it. So yeah.
Oh yeah, it's all about the experience, man.
Yeah, 100%. So, what gear do you use? Because, now that we talked about how important it is, what do you actually use?
Yeah, man, I've been through a lot of different gears in my days of doing the YouTubes. But recently, I use a GH4 at my set, which I film most of my videos at. I'm using a GH5 to film the podcast that I do, conversation with podcasts that I have on my channel, and also this channel. He wanted me to use GH5, so I might as well use that. I normally use a webcam for my live streams. Once I can afford an Elgato cam link, I'll probably do that. But other than that, I use the kit lens for my GH5, a 12 to 60 millimeter. For my set, I use a 14mm lens, and I also have a 42.5mm lens, which I use for product shots. Weirdly, I actually bought that as my only lens. Okay, you're gonna think this is crazy. When I first bought my GH4, so the employer that I had at the time was used to Canon, so he was like, "Oh, the Nifty 50 is great. You're gonna do amazing stuff with that." Panasonic, everything's doubled. So it's really an 80mm lens. So I got this lens as my only lens with the Panasonic GH4. I literally was in tears because I could not use my camera to do anything other than extreme close-up photography. So yeah, it was kind of funny. But I guess that's camera-wise. Mic-wise, I just use a Sonal Sound mic. There's really only one mic. They only have one at the set. And then this mic is a Q2U mic, and Final Cut Pro is my editing software. So.
Okay, cool. And what do you use to edit your thumbnails? Because they are pretty outstanding, I think.
Thank you.
They are very different from what everybody else is doing, and in a good way, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are pretty attention grabby. I don't know if that's a word,
what I'm
but
trying
yeah,
for.
you know what I mean.
I use Adobe Photoshop. Adobe Photoshop was the first software I ever learned that was a professional software. I was 10 and I was just playing around the computer, and I used to make Lego stop motions, and I was not just a Lego stop motion person. I needed to put lightsaber effects on everything. So, I was doing Photoshop from a really young age, and I've kind of mastered that software, and I've kind of had an evolution of thumbnails, and I love using Photoshop. Kind of have a radial blur for the background, and then everything else pops with strokes and glows. So yeah, that's how I edit my thumbnails.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so now that we talked about the gear that you use, what is your actual creation process? Like, what is your pre-production? How do you record your videos, and how do you process them? And also, like, how do you make the SEO of your videos? Because I think that's a very important thing to do in 2018. So if you are not doing SEO on your videos, then you should definitely start doing it, because it's very important.
So my video creation process is something that I'm still working on streamlining, especially the pre-production process. Recently, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm gonna get in trouble saying this, but really the past month of videos, I've been winging from just knowing what the title of the video will be, which is really bad. But I'm trying to develop videos more, and I have done some that are more developed. And I'm sure those you can see on the channel if I told you which ones were developed or not. But honestly, what I'm trying to do is I use a software called Trello to develop the video idea. So firstly, I go with the title, and then once I go through the title, I develop the video idea, and I do rough points. I don't write a script. I know you were gonna ask me about scripts, so I don't write scripts for my videos. It's too much work, especially with daily videos. If you're doing once a week uploads, you can probably have time for scripts. But I don't have time for scripts, so I do rough outlines, and I think I do a pretty good job with the rough outlines, and I kind of just roll with those. Pre-production process isn't that long. I kind of just get the rough idea, research what I wanted to research, and just go film with the set. I used to have a set that wasn't always set up, which I didn't make a video about that in the past. But it's very important to keep your sets as set up. I hate saying keep your set set up. It's so lame. Like, wait, I wish there was another word for that. It's serious. It's just come on. But it's really nice to have a set that's always set up, because you don't procrastinate about setting your setup. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, editing wise, I kind of just import my footage, do the normal Final Cut Pro. It's pretty standard. I don't really do anything special with that. I am in the process of reorganizing my hard drives and figuring out my backup solution. So we'll have a video about that in the future, in the near future. So I can't really go too far into that, since I'm still in the process of how I store all my media. But once I upload the video, I normally upload straight to YouTube through Final Cut Pro. Though recently I've been editing literally an hour before I upload, because I'm doing a bunch of other stuff right now, which is not healthy. But anyways, what I want to get to the point of doing is export the file and then upload it to YouTube, so I have that backed up. I want to keep all my ProRes documents and delete all the project files and original media. I don't think that's important to save. And also, when you're doing 4K and daily uploads, it can get very full. Your hard drives can get very full very quickly, even when you have 23 terabytes like me. So yeah, so I cannot talk. But for SEO, I use Morning Fame. I know you used to use Morning Fame. I really like the software. What I like about it. What?
Sorry, did you get like the full professional version of that? Because I paid about $5 a month, and I could only use the keyword research tool for 13 days in a month, which is very annoying, because I don't know what videos I want to make in the future. So why can't I just use it if I pay for it? That was very annoying to me, but I'm probably gonna pay for that again, because I'm pretty sure that will help my SEO a lot, but we'll see.
it's kind of lame that they made that move, especially when they didn't make it very clear that they were going to do that. I think they kind of hurt a lot of their customer base. But you know, we all learn with our businesses, and Morning Fame helps me a ton with SEO. I don't use it a lot of recent. I've been growing a lot from suggested, though I am trying for my videos that are more search related to do that, and that's going to be very nice for an upcoming channel that I can't talk too much about. But yeah. That's how I do SEO. There's no like process that I just do SEO and Morning Fame. It's great.
Okay, gotcha. So my first point is how do you decide on a thumbnail and also on a title? Because I think those are the two most important things still on getting a video popular. But how do you decide on a good title and thumbnail as well? So yeah, what's your process?
Maybe let's start with the title, because I feel like that's the most important thing since we were talking about SEO. Title-wise, okay, so this is information that it's like some known, but not like extremely known at the moment. So, are you aware of John Prosser of Front Page Tech?
Yes,
of
course.
So he was on a live stream, and he teased something that YouTube was doing in a thing where talking about not as much making titles for the algorithm, but making titles that's going to stir people's emotions. And once that was said out loud, and once he explained that, it made a whole lot of sense of how the algorithm works. Like literally light bulb of how, like, duh, yeah. So, like, for instance, you've seen the reaction from my Why the Blue Yeti Sucks video, my Canon M50 video.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's so much reaction, both negative and positive, but they get tons of views, and I get tons of new subscribers from those videos because, yes, there is a lot of negative feedback, but you're stirring people's emotions enough for either them to agree with you or them to utterly hate you for the rest of your life. And people who utterly hate you for the rest of your life because you disagree on a camera purchase, they're idiots. So, like, you gain a lot of subscribers that way. And you can even see people like MKBHD and different people are starting to put their personal opinions and emotions into the title of the video. So you want to stir people's emotions, and that's how I decide on titles. So if you look at my channel, videos that are more like just plain how to do this don't get as many views as explaining why your favorite piece of equipment sucks or you're doing this wrong, like, because people think, oh, I'm doing something wrong, I want to figure out how I could do something right. So, like, you really got to think about when you're making your title, like, when you're making your title, you want to make it clickable for people to want to see it. I mean, we kind of do that subconsciously, so that's something that I was thinking.
I definitely have to step up my title game because I'm not very good at giving titles, I think, and I hope that will actually help my channel grow because, yeah, I'm growing pretty slowly, and I only have a couple of videos that are going viral on my level, if I can say that, and those are usually videos that are pretty mainstream and get searched a lot, so yeah.
Yeah. But the thumbnail wise, honestly, I don't really know. I do a bunch of facial expressions in the camera with the product that I'm talking about in the video, and I kind of just roll with it. Yeah, there's no like, oh, in this video I need to have this thumbnail. I kind of just figure it out like a couple hours before I upload. So.
How much do you think the branding of the channel as a whole matters? Because I think I am using very simplistic thumbnails because my main content is photography and cinematography, as you can tell. Yeah. And I think, just like Peter McKinnon does, it's very important to be aware that your channel is about, if your channel is about photography, then you have to have like very, I think, aesthetically pleasing thumbnails. And even though if it comes at a cost of not being that attention grabby, but yeah, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think branding is something that is important and something that I'm not that good at, honestly. Yeah, you got to make your thumbnails. I think the most important part of branding is to make your thumbnails and profile picture to kind of match but your banner isn't that big of a deal. You just kind of want your name or whatever. But thumbnails are important because you want people to notice that, oh, that's a Vince video. That's a Paul Groseclose video. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say your last name. I don't want to totally destroy it. But But yeah, you got to make the thumbnails unique enough, but they need to be distinctly your name, which is why I don't really like, as much as I love my man Roberto Blake, his small thumbnail, like small creator thing. It's like it's all like templates. I don't really like the templates because everyone's gonna literally have the same exact thumbnails. So,
but also Awesome Creator Academy, or whatever his course is called, is selling pretty good, I think. So yeah,
it definitely is.
That's a good business move though. But yeah, I don't think that like template thumbnails look any good either. But yeah, whatever. Since you are a YouTuber yourself, do you recommend starting a YouTube channel in 2018? And what are the things that you recommend to do to actually get noticed on the platform? I know you are not a huge channel yet, but still you've been gaining some traction lately. And what are your tips if you should even start YouTube in 2018?
Yeah, so okay, since I briefly brought up Roberto Blake, I'm gonna bring him back to the conversation. But so basically, I started YouTube really late 2017. I've been doing YouTube for 4 years, but I didn't actually start uploading with any consistency since November, really. And that was because of Roberto Blake's like 2-hour-long rant. I was laying in bed watching YouTube videos and came across his Why You Can Do Something in 2018 rant, and then I literally just started uploading as much as I possibly could through the rest of 2017, and now, you know, I've, you know, gotten the attention of a lot of different people and Roberto Blake himself. But yeah, so I definitely think it's totally possible to start something in 2018. I think it's more of the it's more of the fear of, I think, for people that it's oversaturated, which I hate when people say it's oversaturated, because it's really not. Like, if you think about all the people that are watching YouTube and all the channels that there are, it's really not oversaturated. And also there's so many different people on the platform. There's still room for everybody. I mean, YouTube's only 10 years old. It's a young little bud, and yeah, it's you could totally start something in 2018 or really 2019 even. I think it would be harder in the next few years. I think you would agree with that.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
And I also think that if you want to start and you feel like you want to do this seriously, then you should definitely start it today, because it's just getting worse and worse if you think about it, because a lot of today's teenage kids want to become YouTubers because it seems like it's the best job ever, and it really is a very good job, I think. And because
but it is hard. It's not as easy as people think.
No, it's definitely not easy, but the fact that you can do whatever you want to do is very awesome. And yeah, I think that it's just gonna get worse and worse, because more and more people are going to start channels and put out a very good content. But I think if you are niching down your channel and also making quality content consistently, I think you can still get some pretty good views. But yeah, I'm not saying that I'm getting any like good views yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm on my way to
you're doing
becoming
great.
Better. So yeah.
And I'm also gonna bring up I don't know if you are aware of Viper. He's a tech YouTuber. He literally started on the first day of 2018, and he just made videos that made him rant about technology, and then now he's literally about to hit 800 subscribers. So literally just and he's been doing daily videos since the start. He's been making a video pretty much every day. Doesn't care totally about he cares about his quality, but like he films on his iPad and he just makes a video every single solitary day, and he doesn't really care about the whole production value. And now he's about to hit 800 subscribers, which literally is crazy. But you did ask about tips, and honestly, I think it's just, as I said with Viper, just make videos as much as possible. Just every single... Because when John Prosser challenged me to do daily videos, I didn't think I could. But when I did, it literally... If you look at from where I was at the beginning of that month to the end of that month, my quality has improved like a bazillion times. And if I didn't do that, I would still be at the same quality as I was at the beginning of this year. So I would highly recommend daily videos for everyone starting YouTube, start off with maybe 4 videos a week. I know that sounds insane, but if you can't do 4 videos a week, you shouldn't even be like doing like you shouldn't be thinking that you can do this full time, if you know what I'm saying, because it's impossible to do if you can only upload like once a month. You're never gonna be successful, if you know what I'm saying.
I think it's not entirely true, because like it also depends on the kind of content that you are making. Because like if you are animating like short movies, then obviously you won't be able to do uploads every day. But yeah, if you're doing the kind of stuff that like we are doing, like these vlog and these vlog kind of videos, then you should be able to do it. Yeah.
And I think when you brought up animation channels, it's actually a really good point, because I got a lot of people bashing me when I said you need to do daily videos, and if you can't do at least 2 videos a week, you like, come on, man, what are you doing with your life? I got a lot of animation channels bashing me, and I was like, I understand that point of view. But what I'm trying to, what my point is that I'm not really talking about that kind of channel, because you're not doing YouTube to, you can grow and make a lot of money as an animation channel on YouTube. I'm not discounting that. What I'm trying to say is that you're taking YouTube in a different path. So like you're not going on the same path as everybody else. It's a totally different genre and space in the animation, and all those different channels like that take a lot more to make those videos. So I think you could probably agree with that statement.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now I don't think that I have much more things to talk about in terms of YouTube. So let's talk about some personal stuff at the end of this podcast. So what are your biggest goals for the next 1 year, and also the next 5 years, and maybe even 10 if you have like that big of a plan?
Okay, man, the grand plan of Paul Groseclose. Yeah. Okay, 1 year from now, this is really the thing that I'm working on at the moment. So this time next year, I hope to graduate high school next year, which is going to be great. But what I really want to do is be able to have a large enough income from YouTube that it makes sense to not have to get another job until I can, move out. So like my plan is within another year that I can have my YouTube channel be profitable enough to do that. And that's why I'm trying to invest in, for instance, I'm investing in Roberto Blake's 30-minute channel review to help grow my YouTube channel and do different things like that. But yeah, so it's just in the year, I would really like to be financially stable with YouTube, and I'm already getting to that point with Patreon and all the brand deals and different stuff like that are upcoming. But yeah, 5 years from now, I would really just like to totally be full-time and living on my own, and maybe even possibly in LA, because that's really kind of like my 10-year dream. I really want to either live in Los Angeles or New York City. So those are my goals in life. I really just want to be a creative entrepreneur, as Roberto Blake says, full-time.
Yeah, cool. I'm pretty much the same, except like I'm not entirely sure that I want to do YouTube like full time, but yeah. Okay, so my next question is going to be, what do you hate most about our generation, like this era of YouTubers and just kids overall? And also, what do you think we are good at, like much better than the people before us?
Okay, now this is gonna sound kind of hypocritical, but probably the thing I don't like about this generation the most is this generation of YouTubers the most is how much we complain, because literally it's all about, I can't do this video, I know YouTube is making it sorry, my earbud just totally fell out. It's so hard to grow my YouTube channel. I'm just gonna quit. It's just so oh my gosh, I can't do anything. It's literally so annoying, and literally those people shouldn't even be on the YouTube platform, because if you can't take anything that's a little bit hard on YouTube, you should what are you doing? I hate when people get totally upset about hate comments and that kind of different stuff like that. Though I do think this generation is better at I think, man, I don't really know, YouTube wise compared to the adults. like everyone is kind of like on the same level. I mean, like there's a lot of kids that are making crappy content, but there's also a lot of kids that are making amazing content, like you and I. And you know, I think like there's a certain level of acceptable quality, and I think like someone like you or I is kind of on the same level as like I know it's gonna be kind of praising us, but you know, as like Peter McKinnon, because I think like his content is high quality, and I think that especially like your content is really high quality too, if not even just as good as Peter McKinnon's, just in a different way.
I don't think so.
So I personally think so. I really like your vlogs, and that one that I reacted to in my live stream was like that montage was like, wow, perfect.
Thank you. But I think just to talk about Peter for a second, I think the reason that people subscribe to him for is mainly his personality, because like he's a really likable dude in my opinion. Like he's a super like ambitious, and like he's just always like very pumped about everything, and yeah, he just fits into this YouTuber era, and yeah.
Personality is literally one of the most important things. It's something that not a lot of people really realize till a little bit later on. But if you can really attach to a person's personality, that's so important. Like people want to be attached to their YouTubers personally, and I think that's something that I've been slowly trying to get better at. Just because I like, even if you look at like some of my highest performing content, that's some of the stuff that isn't search, that isn't helping other people out. It's more like just me, like people are engaged in my personality, and that's great. And that's why some YouTubers that are really all about how to teach people will literally get almost nobody on their live streams, and nobody will want to follow them on Twitter or, you know, watch them play video games. Like that's something that I've been surprised about, the reaction to me starting a Twitch. Like I've already got just about like 40 followers on there. I've only streamed twice. So on it, like it's just like the personality is so important, and to get people attached to a person, literally, I personally think more important than anything you can do with titles or thumbnails or anything like that. Now that is important to get people engaged in you. You need to get out there, but yeah, I think personality is literally the most important thing. Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, and I think you can never know when are you going to blow up. Like you can have one video that's gonna, you know, blow your channel out of this world. So when was your blow up moment in your YouTube career? I mean, I know that you still didn't hit probably that level that you're like dreaming of, or you would say that you've made it, but I think you definitely had like a very big jump in subscribers.
Definitely did.
In the last like 3 months. So could you talk about that for a minute?
Sure. Okay, yeah, man. So, like I said, I started YouTube seriously in September-ish, October, November, in that area. January, I made my channel trailer, which was... So, John Prosser had known who I was for a little while. He found me from my net neutrality videos. And so, I made my channel trailer, and he apparently really liked that. So, he shared it on his YouTube channel page for all of his subscribers, which literally... It got me from 400 subscribers to just about 600, which was a big jump for me in just a short period of time. And I tried to ride that wave out as far as I could and try to engage some of those people. But that was the first time I had ever received a wave from anybody, or even a wave that I got on my own, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then after that, I was still doing YouTube, and I was growing. I was growing relatively quickly, but then so John has his live streams, and I was on his live stream, and he challenged me to do daily videos on YouTube, and I was like, no, I could never do it, but I ended up doing it. And after that, literally 2 crazy things happened in the first week of doing daily videos. Firstly, so literally on Wednesday, I made a video about Social Blade. Weirdly, this video was a video that I've been planning on making for like 2 months, but I never actually made it. So I made a video about Social Blade. Social Blade saw it and put it on their website literally an hour after I uploaded it. So then I was literally went from like 650 subscribers to about 917 in like 2 days, which is crazy for a channel our size. And then John decided to give me and Randy Vasquez, who was also doing the daily video challenge with me. He's the musician that does all my audio, most of my audio for my videos. But so we were doing daily videos, and he gave us a shout out on his episode of Front Page Tech, and I went from 917 subscribers to 1,100 in literally 24 hours, and it literally was insane that in the past week I've literally doubled my subscribers pretty much, which literally blew my mind, my head, and everything. So that was really kind of where I had my breakthrough, and I've tried to ride that out, and I'm slowly gaining traction again. So it's so that's kind of my quote-unquote breakthrough as you were referring to.
Cool. Because I had that kind of thing on my other channel, because if you didn't know, I have Hungarian channel because I am Hungarian, and on that channel I have gained about 400 subscribers in my first 2 months, and then I made a challenge video. It was very embarrassing, but anyways, it blew up kinda. So it gained 60 or 70,000 views in a month.
Dang.
And I've got about 1,000 subscribers from that video. So I actually went from 400 to 1,500 in I don't know, a month. So that was very crazy to me. And I mean, that channel was doing very well for me compared to this, because I've been doing this channel for the same amount of time that I've been doing that in the past. But that channel was, when I actually closed it, was at 2,500 subscribers, around that number. So yeah, it was much easier to be noticed in the Hungarian YouTube community. But anyways, I enjoy this much more because I think YouTube is about community, and just the fact that I can talk to like-minded people just like you is awesome, and I enjoy this much more because the Hungarian community is very toxic. So
really,
yeah, I mean, the only successful channels are making challenge videos and pranks, and I don't have anything against those, but they are very trash content and they are very bad quality. So I just didn't want to, considered as a Hungarian YouTuber. So.
And also, I can also imagine there's much more people speaking English than Hungarian on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Yeah, and I think you have to always think about the long term, because that's what matters. Okay, so I think that's it for this episode. Paul, where can people find you?
Where can people find me? Well, my social media is all at Real Paul Gross. And people are always like, oh, whenever I try and search you, I always see Donald Trump. I'm sorry, guys. But Real Paul Gross. And my YouTube channel is youtube.com/PTGofficial. I'm going to try and get it changed to Paul Groseclose soon, though I'm having a little bit of issues with that at the moment, so we shall see how that goes. But yeah, I hope to email YouTube in the very near future to try and officially get that changed around. But yeah, just YouTube, and my Twitter page is really where I'm most active. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Okay.
Hopefully links in the description.
Thank you so much for tuning in into today's video, and I really enjoyed this conversation, so I hope that the next ones are going to be just as good as this one. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out Paul's channel and his social media, and if you enjoyed this, also subscribe to me. So yeah, thank you so much for listening or watching to today's episode, and yeah, so bye everyone.
Peace.